Alright guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to take on a very difficult topic that's been kicked around and is controversial for people new to Scientology, and that is the infamous Wall of Fire. And I'm going to tie it into the reference, as you've probably already seen, to the Matrix. And what does that have to do with Scientology? So first, let me just tell you, if you're new to this channel, I am hooked up to an e-meter here. I am not auditing myself. It just gives you a little bit of an idea how the e-meter looks and reacts to thoughts and so forth. And please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to do that, and post your comments below as well. All right, here we go.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me.
Alright, so that's a very famous scene from the movie The Matrix, where Morpheus is sort of given Neo the lowdown, the scoop. And it's a very common feeling. It struck a chord with obviously millions of people, a very popular movie. The idea that there's this thing that's been festering, sort of like a splinter in your mind, that people have noticed something's wrong, something's not quite right, yet they don't know what it is or what to call it. So it's a fairly decent metaphor for the actual truth of the fact that there is a matrix. And the only unfortunate thing, and I'm going to go into more detail here in a bit, but there isn't a pill that you can take. There isn't such a thing as a red pill. The red pill has, as it turns out, taken a different form. So let's dive into that a little bit. I want to have you listen to some of the research L. Ron Hubbard did on this matter, and we'll try to dissect it a little better as we go.
The mystery of this universe and this particular area of the universe has been, as far as its track is concerned, completely occluded. No one has ever been able to make any breakthrough and come off with it and know what happened.
Okay, so that was a segment from the famous L. Ron Hubbard briefing known as RJ67, where he talks about his breakthrough or his launching the availability of this new level, the Wall of Fire, OT3, etc. But the important thing on that clip right there that I just played is where he says it's been occluded. Now, what does occluded mean? Occluded means covered up. It's overshadowed, or it's like a veil covering it. One can't see it. I'm not thinking of a good example, but you know, there are a lot of things that we can be occluded about. You know, people aren't aware of certain emotions they have until something sort of re-stimulates it and so forth. And these things are what we call occluded. Likewise, this area of the whole track of the case has been occluded, and even though he allows that maybe somebody had contacted this area before, they weren't able to bring it off, meaning resolve it. Now, what does that have to do with the matrix? Well, that is the first foray into the heart, the nut, the real core of the occlusion, the case, the matrix, so to speak. And I'm going to play another clip here, but in the next clip, LRH goes into a little more detail on this, and we'll dissect that. But that's the first one I wanted you to hear.
And about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I finally was able to make a breakthrough which brought people through this zone safely. It is relatively easy to do now, providing one is an extremely well-trained auditor, and the band of fire can be walked through, bringing one out the other side unscathed, providing he applies exact technology. No one is in danger of colliding with this at lower levels, since it concerns the formation of the society itself in which we live. A person is clear on the first dynamic. It is necessary to become OT to be cleared on all dynamics, including that of society and that of the physical universe. So I have also made this breakthrough, and I don't mind telling you, it took some doing. In all the 18 years, this has been the toughest one that I have faced. And I faced it so that it would not be tough for you to face when you came to it.
All right, so we have there L. Ron Hubbard giving a bunch of information in a short period of time, as he usually does. Now, the thing with this is, well, a few key points. First of all, he mentioned there that he said, provided one is extremely well-trained auditor. So that's vital. All the misinformation and the wrong information and the varying opinions that are out there about this area, this OT band, stem usually from people not being well-trained auditors. They go through some training, they're required to do some minimal training, or they've had none at all. They just do a Google search and they come along this and they say this or that about it. It seems a little bizarre to them, I guess. But the point that he makes is, provided one is an extremely well-trained auditor. I can't even begin to overemphasize that. So in order to tackle the red pill, to take this on, you have to be a trained auditor, which means there's a significant amount of time spent reading, studying, auditing others. And a well-trained auditor is somebody who can audit others. So before you even get close to tackling this area, you should have had many hours of experience in auditing other people. That would be the ideal situation. And right along with that, he says that provided he applies the exact technology. So if you haven't been a well-trained auditor and you haven't learned to apply these processes exactly, then you're not going to get the result. And so, to use an analogy of, if someone were to look at a lake and think they know all about that lake, well, they don't, not even, looking under to the surface. Under the surface is where all the life is, all the other life forms and plant life and the biology that's going on there. So that's likewise with this area, this matrix. It's below the surface that really counts. He makes another point in that excerpt I just read you, where, or that I played you. No one is in danger of colliding with this. So what happens is you've got various awareness levels that people are sitting at, and these are mapped out in the grade chart, what we call the grade chart, the steps one has to take up through the bridge in this process of taking the quote-unquote red pill. Well, people at certain awareness levels, and until they go up through those steps, they're not going to be at an awareness level where this really is a danger to them. That's why people can come along and read that OT3 material and say, but a bunch of nonsense, or I didn't get sick, nobody died, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're not digging very deep into it, I can assure you, because having done it all, come out the other side, I can tell you that if somebody really did dive into it, really knew what they were dealing with, they could in fact get quite sick, and it wouldn't be good. So we don't have to worry about, though, because these awareness levels are mapped out, and you can't just skip one just because you think, well, I want to skip ahead. It doesn't work that way. You have to go through the precise steps, and it's, again, the red pill analogy, but if our red pill is a series of 1,000 steps with about a dozen major ones in there, then you can't skip them. There's no shortcut. So the other thing, and the last thing I want to mention that he just brought up, was that it has to do with the formation of this society. And that is so fundamental and basic and such a profound statement that it probably just floats right on past, again, above awareness levels. But the formation of the society is really what the matrix is composed of. And the way the society is formed, the way that it was very insidiously planned out and executed, is something that has to be dismantled on an individual basis, and then it has a profound effect on the broader society itself, which is what's been going on for the last 50 years since he made this breakthrough. Now, 20 years after this lecture that I'm talking about, or that I played for you, there was a further advancement which we refer to as New Era Dianetics for OTs, or NOTs. And that was a huge step beyond what he had been talking about in 1967 from the excerpt I just played you. Beyond that, there's been some research as well to even make it clearer and clearer to those of us that have gotten through the area. We have the advantage of this, the hindsight, and being able to look back and see how important the individual steps are along the way. So the red pill, if the red pill is a series of 1,000 steps, just picking that as an arbitrary number, with 12 major categories, you could say, which are the bridge steps up to OT3, then each one of those is very much a part of the whole pill. You can't take the pill without taking the first part of the pill. That's what people want to do. They want to just go to Google and read about it, and now they've got it. It does not work that way, unfortunately. It'd be nice if there was a pill, but there isn't. It's not a pill. it's some work that you have to do. So the fact that I was willing to take this on and talk about it, I think I get some points. I'm going to give myself some points for that. I hope that perspective, coming from somebody who's done it, willing to talk about it, is of some use to you. Please do comment. Also subscribe. Use the subscribe button. Ring the bell. And push your comments. Be respectful. I'll be respectful in answering to the best of my ability. Go to Scientolopedia.com and you can find other practitioners who can give you a hand. We've got Facebook. We're on a lot of social media, and we try to make ourselves available in these trying times when you've got a bunch of a lunatic church and a bunch of lunatics who are out there, so-called experts that are talking about this subject. I mean that respectfully and love when I say lunatics. Anyway, please do post your comments, let me know, and we'll have to tackle this again. I'm going to keep doing these videos, so getting your feedback is encouraging to me. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to seeing you here again soon. All right, bye-bye.